Hello, this is David Hilgendorf, Library Media Specialist at Park Center Senior High, here to give you a synopsis of my presentation on PLNs for students. PLNs are commonly known as professional learning networks or personal learning networks, depending on the environment. In the case of professionals, it is a learning network set up on computers to connect professionals with others in their profession who are interested in and doing similar things. In the case of personal learning networks, it's for any individual who's looking to connect with others about a topic of interest. And I also like to call these passionate learning networks, especially when it involves students, because oftentimes the subject matter that is being discussed or focused on is something that is one of their passions. And because the study here in particular is for students, I like calling them scholarly learning networks, which differentiates them from the professional learning networks, which are slightly different in a different context. So PLNs are supported by the theory of Connectivism, which is a relatively new theory conceived of by George Siemens and Stephen Downes. And the idea is that knowledge or information sources can be found across a network, and the better you're able to navigate those information sources and to find them and make use of them, the more knowledge you'll gain or be able to gain, and the more information you'll have access to. George Siemens looks at it as networks on not just that level of these are people I'm connecting with and information sources I'm connecting with, but also at the neural level, so inside your brain, and from there the concepts that students are thinking about, and those are mirroring the external networks that we'll be talking about in this presentation. So here's a diagram to show you the basic idea. We want students to connect with information sources, and so to get there we have to teach them about information gathering tools. We also want them to connect with people that know about the topic that they're interested in, and so we introduce them to various communication tools and collaboration tools for that purpose. And finally, once they've gathered a bunch of information together, we want them to be able to tell others about it in some way, and so expressing what they've learned through some sort of a product or presentation, and they need presentation tools for that. So various tiers of this process include looking at the theory, as we've begun doing, and then examining what tools are available, and finally looking at the pedagogy that in order for teachers to be able to implement this in a classroom environment. We'll be minimizing that last aspect in this presentation because it's a pretty in-depth aspect. So here is this is a diagram that I created for showing the different nodes, they're called. Nodes are information sources that a student can utilize for getting information. So you can see on the top, towards the top right, there's the teacher, media specialist, and then there's classmates and peers. Well, in the internet environment, those categories are expanded because specialists are available in various fields through their blogs, through websites, through various media that are out there. Specialists who may know a lot more than a teacher or a textbook or the media specialist in the school about that given subject. And the same is true for classmates and peers. There are many more peers on the World Wide Web than there are going to be in the given classroom or within a school that may have similar interests or be studying a similar thing to connect with. So the challenge is connecting them. If you look towards the top left, blogs and wikis are some of the main tools that we use for that process. Blogs are weblogs, and they allow students, experts, and enthusiasts to communicate their findings, their immediate findings, to a worldwide audience. And so these are tools that students can use themselves, and also they can subscribe to the blogs and wikis of others and get involved in that way. And one way of making that easy is just down to the left of blogs and wikis, you'll see Rss Feeds and Aggregators, which may be gobbledygook to some of you, but an aggregator is something that allows people to subscribe to various media that is sort of current media that's being put out there in one place. So rather than having to go to a whole bunch of different blog sites about skateboarding, let's say, you can just go to your reader, maybe Google Reader might be one that you would use, and that would have all of the blogs that you subscribe to. And then finding sources academically, that's sort of a normal process, but there are a lot more tools there. Those down below, the round circles, are the ones that I'm referring to. And video instruction is becoming more and more readily available for our students now, which is great for multiple intelligences. And social networks and social bookmarking tools are also very helpful, both for bookmarking your own sites you find of interest and also looking at other people's sites you find of interest and communicating those through social networks. And then you'll see communication and collaboration tools down in the bottom right there for communicating with experts and others in the field. And finally, presentation tools. How are you going to present this information to others? So PLNs are different for students than they are for professionals, in that it's an educational environment, and so student safety is really important, and it's also important to identify staff that are willing and able and have the knowledge to work with these systems, and also projects that are more on the long-term nature. For example, International Baccalaureate program allows for extended essays for students in order for them to graduate with a diploma program degree. And that's the perfect sort of a venue for this use. There are a number of other things here that I share with teachers that I'll skip for now. And then this finally is how you go about beginning in a small step, one step at a time, to create your own personal learning network. Thank you very much.